Laura, thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure.
I think you're coming on here to solve the marketing problem around high performance and passive house.
Yep.
So go.
Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from first, because we are recording here at Performance Membranes.
Yep.
Yes. So
And the connection is?
I'm from Sorted Digital Marketing. This is my company, and we've been working with Devon and Justin at Performance Membranes for a good couple of years now. So
Awesome.
we help out with all of their social media marketing, and sort of marketing this new business expansion for them as well.
Who do you enjoy working with more, Devon or Justin?
Who does the camera love more? Devon. Devon.
I don't know if he's actually gotten in front of the camera like organically.
I want to see more Justin.
We want more. Actually,
he hides down in Tassie. He's a hard man to.
He does. Oh no, I can't make
get
that
a
home
hold
because
of.
I'm in Tassie.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll change
And then he'll
that.
give you like 3 days notice that he's in Melbourne.
Both are beautiful people.
Yes.
So it's great having you on today because, I would say that the more broader industry is probably not as nerdy when it comes to the details and the science and the spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff as what Matt and I were attracted to in the beginning. And, we're sitting here 5, 6, 7 years later from when we first started down that kind of high performance and passive house path and wondering like why the fuck is not everybody doing it?
Yeah.
And there's probably some real...
Are you talking about consumers
I'm
going
talking
down that path?
talking about consumers. I'm talking about
builders?
why hasn't it been like more broadly adopted?
Yeah.
And I feel like more and more people are getting there. But I like everything, like marketing plays a massive role in actually telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably also a good example because you probably came into Performance Membranes working with the Pro Climber products having no idea what they were.
Absolutely no idea. It actually sounded like another language, like Extrasan or something. And I'm like, what the hell is this? It's taken a lot to come in with my marketing knowledge, but understand this whole new industry because it's not easy to understand. And I think that's what we're going to sort of chat through today.
So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about your background and then how you got to be working with the guys from Performance Membranes?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been running the digital marketing business for the last nearly 8 years.
Okay.
So straight out of uni, just noticed that there's a lot of awesome small businesses on the Mornington Peninsula that like no one really knew about online. There was a good bit of word of mouth, but just not enough. So I was like, they deserve more. And I was studying business at the time. So, business sort of, came about.
So you didn't go work for it. You just went straight into it from
I went
university.
straight into it. I have never worked in corporate. I've never really had a boss.
I love that.
It's a very carpenter thing though.
I'm
isn't it?
exactly the same. I've never had a boss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
No one tells me what to do.
So are you your big focus on? So you're obviously a digital marketing agency. Are you pushing a lot of that stuff through social media? Is it web-based?
So organic social media has been our bread and butter for the last 7 years. And now this last year, we're really sort of transitioning into more other digital marketing services that complement the organic work that we're doing.
So for those who don't know what organic social media is, can you maybe just put a little bit of context around that?
So when you're scrolling on your phone at night and you see posts on Facebook, that is organic. If you are scrolling on Instagram and it comes up with sponsored, that is paid.
Yep.
So it's everything that a business or a personal account posts on their newsfeed, it appears on their grid. It, for a business, is crucial to actually showcase who you are, what you do, and just create that almost parasocial relationship with the audience.
And do you think, as someone who's worked with a lot of small businesses, that you need a nice balance of both sponsored or paid ads?
My question, you've stolen it.
Sorry, or organic. And what do you think works best?
I think a combination does ideally work best, but for the most part of like the last 7 years, we have primarily worked with businesses that could only afford in their marketing spend for, creative photo shoots and organic posts. There wasn't actually the budget there to do paid.
Paid ads, yeah.
So we actually started with Emerald Building Services.
Oh,
so
Tim.
Tim, yeah.
Down in Mount Eliza, we met at a networking group. So yeah, it's been really cool. That was sort of my deep dive into like the passive house, high performance industry. Obviously coming with like PMA, it's been a whole new level of detail. But yeah, Emerald was really like the guinea pig in terms of social media, because Tim is willing to share information. He's great at speaking to the camera. He's got a lot of education and information to deliver.
Tim's a great guy. And I want to ask you, for someone who's come out of uni, you're not a builder, you're not a tradesperson.
Not at all.
And how, like, did the whole performance construction thing or passive house thing make any sense to you?
Not for a long time.
Can I ask you now, if you were to build your own home, what would you build?
Oh.
Would you adopt all of the things that you're seeing here now and put them in your home, or would you just be like, oh, who cares? The code's not telling me to do that. I'll build a co-built home.
If I'm living in there, and that's, say, in like 5-10 years, I'm building my dream home, which would ideally be down like Torquay, like the coast.
Sure.
Then yeah, absolutely. Because as well, like those more coastal areas, they get impacted hugely. So yeah, now understanding the longevity and also doing a couple of renovations myself with investment properties and my partner's property, I can really see the dodgy works and the financial situations and the stressful situations it puts you in not doing it properly.
Yep. Yeah, I was curious to hear, for someone who's sort of outside the industry and, you know, I guess looking in and now kind of learning about it, whether it had kind of swayed you to, you know, build more durable and, you know, healthier buildings.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it has.
Yeah, well, I think as I'm sort of growing and learning more as a business owner about numbers, I'm paying more attention to that, and I understand upfront it's more expensive. But if you think about potential renovations and all the works and upkeep because the build's just deteriorating because it's not done well, and all of the other things like electricity costs and all of the other factors that, you know, the more high performance energy efficient homes provide, like long term it just completely outweighs it.
So numbers. This is where I think the industry fucks up when we talk about building better, because we throw out these numbers that make sense to maybe Hamish and myself. And I always use my wife, she's in marketing too. I always use her as a bit of a test dummy to be like, well, not even her anymore now because she's sort of immune to my jargon. How do I use my friend who she scrolls and wants to see pretty pictures? How do I capture her attention? Because the numbers do not appeal to her.
No, absolutely. And it's, so the first thing with organic social media is understand who you're wanting to speak to. So create your customer avatar. Who are they? Where do they live? How old are they? What are they doing? What are their needs? And really like almost like psychoanalyze it to the point of like what really triggers them? What are they needing and wanting for themselves, their family? And then, you know, as you say, the numbers aren't going to appeal to, say, a 45-year-old female who is the decision maker of the home. She wants more emotional. She wants to know that her kid with asthma is going to be safe and comfortable in the home, and that those huge energy bills are going to, you know, decrease, and that it's going to afford them a more comfortable life. So it's really shifting the narrative from, you know, talking just stuff that makes sense to fellow builders to speaking to the end consumer at the end of the day.
So this is an issue I have with builders and the way they market is that, how do I say this politely? Well, I won't. But I see.
Mate, you haven't ever been polite.
No. So all right, I'm going to be really honest here. I see builders doing videos, and maybe more specifically certain trades, but a video on a site about them whacking a wall together and this really curated video that they put together
with the slow-mo drop saw.
Yeah. Who the fuck is that appealing to?
Sawdust.
Honestly, like the client doesn't give a shit about that.
Absolutely not.
Like it appeals to other tradies, and this is where, and they're like, oh, that's sick, good gear. But the reality is that trade doesn't pay the bills.
Absolutely not.
That follows you. It does if you have a huge social following and you can make income from that. That means. But
very slim chance that that's the case.
But the reality is, like, just because Instagram is sexy, and I'll get more into other social media channels in a second, but that doesn't mean it transitions into purchases, because at the end of the day, we only need 3 or 4 people to buy a year that's a client. We don't need the tradie that constantly follows us and likes us. That doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we go wrong.
And that's where you really need to come back to every single piece of content. You should have your core content pillars, so the key things that you're pushing with your key messaging, and then make sure that every single post relates to a customer avatar. So you could have, say, 45-year-old Angela, and you've got her full customer profile, and then there might be 55-year-old Dave and his full customer profile, and one of your, like, each post needs to relate to either Angela or it needs to either relate to Dave. Otherwise, if you're just putting out stuff that you think is appealing as a builder, I can almost guarantee that, like, the everyday consumer who you want, engaging you guys is not going to be interested. And as well, is your content just talking to people in the industry? Is it just trying to attract new, like, apprentices? If that's, if you're flat chat and you just need staff, cool, go nuts with, like, the, fun videos and the slow-mo and this and that. But, like, the everyday person does not give a shit.
So it's interesting we're having this conversation now. So my VA does a lot of our marketing now, and every Monday we have a conversation around, what we're putting out for the next month. And we've just developed a report that we're going to start doing, which is tracking a whole bunch of different metrics. Mm-hmm. And ironically, how we run our social media is probably not as designed as what it might appear from the outside. So we've got kind of 3 key posts that we do. Tuesdays are educational. Wednesdays are a collaborative we do with Sustainable Builders Alliance. Sundays are nice, pretty pictures and finished posts. Mm-hmm. In between, we fill them in with some reels and stories and stuff like that. And it's interesting as we're starting to track all the metrics. The reels are getting by far the most views. Whenever we do a reel and it's hitting 40, 50, 60,000 views, we're getting a massive uptick in our following. Mm. Now, I have a theory on this, and I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts about it. I am very well aware that the 40, 50, 60,000 views that we're getting aren't, I would say such a small percentage of them are going to be people that would actually end up in a transactional relationship with me. And I've kind of looked at the numbers and the metrics, 95% of them are men, and 95% of them, or a big percentage of them, are 25 to 35-year-olds because they're, looking at the social, that's
also the tradie age.
Exactly. However, our educational ones are not getting anywhere near as many views. Anywhere between.
You mean your sexy photo?
No. The educational ones between 5 and 10,000 views we're getting, maybe just under 100 likes. However, I know that those ones have a higher female engagement, and it's really fitting in with that profile with where our sort of target market or demographic sits. Yeah. And even though they're not getting the likes or the views, they're probably resulting in more brand identity, brand building,
credibility.
And then our finished pictures are kind of just sort of wrapping a nice bow around the fact that, hey, we can educate, we can do these sort of videos showing that we can put stuff together. Yep. And then at the end of the week, we're showing a finished project.
Are you running like a 40-30-20 split? Sorry, technical. Are you working a split between, say, reel, post, carousel?
Well, not, and again, this is not by design, but I guess just from what we're seeing, the data we're getting back, the reels are getting our followers up. They're getting engagement, which is great. I think I still want to do that, but I'm not focusing heavily on 5 reels a week and getting 100,000 followers. Yeah. But in your opinion, do you think it's the finished projects and the educational stuff that's that brand building, brand alignment kind of piece, and the finished projects of, hey, they can build what we want them to build? Do you think they're the ones that are actually getting work through the door?
It's hard to tell because the decision-making process, there's all these different phases that a consumer will go through. But the reason why everyone, when they talk about organic social media, will bring it back to content pillars. And the reason it's not just content pillar, it's pillars, is having diversity in your content, because not everything will appeal to someone and be the checkbox in their brain.
But can I jump in as well there? It's just not diversifying the content, because when if we were to do a survey out there, people would say, what's marketing? I'd say the high proportion of people just say Instagram. There are actually other social media channels and other avenues of marketing as well. So I think that's also another thing, is people just see Instagram as a marketing tool. There's so many other, just like there's different post there's carousels, there's reels, there's stories, whatever. There's other options out there to push us across. It's just Facebook. I just hate sitting on Facebook. That is my most hated social media channel because I feel like everyone is an armchair expert, and for some reason you have people listening to John at the pub and Susie from the hairdresser over the builder.
I'm going to digress just a tiny bit. So the metrics that I'm seeing are on Instagram and Facebook. Right? So in my, when I'm kind of going into the stats or whatever, I get trolled so much more on Facebook than I do on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like someone will say something and then there is hundreds of comments underneath.
Yeah.
Now I don't give a shit because it's great for the algorithm.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
you don't bite back?
I said to Lucy last night, I'm like, I don't have the energy.
Be more Matt.
I don't have the energy for it. But Instagram, on the other hand, is much less.
Yeah. So one thing that people need to really understand is each social media platform for every individual and every business account is going to operate really different. We've got builders in the same industry. We've got builders from Ballarat Way to East Gippsland, a part of the GJ Gardner Homes franchise, and their insights are totally different.
Interesting.
So you can't just come in with these preconceived ideas of this is how Facebook interacts, this is how people interact on Instagram, because that's just your experience.
I've hit Facebook a lot more recently because it's more of a boomer generation, and they're the ones that have the houses and the ones that need to. I have
actually thought about that. Our target market's probably spending more time.
I'm not moving away from Instagram, but there are other. That's why I go to other options. Like you've got Facebook is a great tool, and using the back end of the ads management isn't a hard software. It's not like Google Ads where I don't even know where the fuck to start with that. Like that is like I try to play around with that.
Yeah.
Which is something I'll write that down. Yeah, because I also want because I've got so many notes around talking about different social media channels, but. Where are you finding value for money on these sort of things in marketing at the moment?
So with organic social media, there is no way to actually showcase the, cost per click. With paid ads, you've got that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, just going back to your point with the different type of content, the reason for having content pillars and that diversity is to, if someone needs social proof, you can tick that box. If they need credibility, you can tick that box with some education.
What you're reeling off now are content pillars, yeah?
Yeah,
yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So all of these different things will help with that consumer decision-making process to be able to get them feeling confident enough and whatever they need personally, whether it's that social proof or credibility or, just seeing the beautiful homes that you guys create, to be able to go and, be like, nope, I'm going with this builder.
Well, Instagram is now, I'm going to use Instagram specifically here. It's almost like a bit of a Google now. That you
100%.
People type in a cafe, what's local, and they can find their local cafe, look at the food, the video photos they're tagged in.
With all of the AI integration.
Yeah. So I want to talk about specifically alt text and the SEO through an Instagram, say post or social media post. Because the way that you word your post, the words that you use within that post, and this applies to architects, engineers, building designers, anyone really, builders, tradies, the words that you're using have a really important meaning behind being found. How have you found that? Because it's still, from what I've read, we're still working out how to navigate that through a social media channel where if with Google it's very easy. You type in sustainable builder and it comes up.
Yeah.
Instagram, they're trying to give a fair go to people that though someone with 5 followers also has the same chance of being found as someone with 100,000 followers. But this space here, I'm trying to work out my brain, like how to navigate that section. Does that make sense what I'm getting at?
A little bit. So in terms of the actual copy that you're putting with your social media posts, so many people I feel like there's this big variation. Either it's short, sharp, and it really is just like almost like a headline and it doesn't give you anything. Or there's this massive essay, and that's also not suitable for social media. Generally, that's more appealing builder to builder on a technical aspect. So it's working out keywords that, bringing it back to the custom avatar, what is 45-year-old Angela from, Mornington searching for her family? What's, 65-year-old Dave searching? and actually working out what they're going to be putting in and having those keywords float somewhere in the caption, but also talk directly to them like you're having a conversation. And as well, you can use things like ChatGPT to help with copywriting, but you really need to put so much information for it to actually sound authentic, because I can spot one a mile away and everyone else is getting, you know.
In conclusion, or the big one that I hate is you see them, they're even like change their Z's to an S.
Oh, and the M dash and the craftsmanship. And I'm like, oh, that's killed that word for me.
Even the emojis.
Yeah.
Get rid of the, if you're going to use ChatGPT,
Yeah.
get rid of the fucking emojis.
The only thing that I will say is good is I think his name's Adam, head of Instagram. He's come out recently and said hashtags, we're shortening these and we're
3.
So it went from 5, now it's going down to 3.
It was 30 only a few months ago.
Yeah, this will continue to evolve.
So
and
I was
this is
going to ask you
why.
about hashtags. So are hashtags still a thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a filing system though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this comes back to the keywords, but it also needs to, you can't now just have a set, slab of 10 that you just copy and paste onto everything. It needs to talk to what's in the actual post. So say you're talking...
So is that the old text behind it? Is that the same thing or a bit different?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying your copy that sits underneath your post should talk to with the message that you're trying to get across, and then your hashtags need to relate back to that post.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you need to think about things. People consume content in a very, very different way. Some people consume it literally sitting on the toilet, scrolling with no sound at work. So you've got to have
That's
subtitles.
every commercial tradie, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got to have subtitles. Then if someone is maybe reading it, they're not even swiping through the carousel where you've given them the information, you then need to have it in the caption. So there's lots of different ways. So you need to basically assume that people are maybe a little bit silly and they're not going to consume it in the way that you've created it and fail proof it.
Do you want to go on to alt text as well? In the Instagram post behind the scenes? No?
No.
No, okay, cool. That's fine.
I'm curious. I don't want to know what that is now.
So if you go in the back, the alt text is practically you're writing this is my understanding, could be a little bit wrong, is it's a bit like SEO, but you're going into the back end of a photo. So when it goes through, because I'm pretty sure now Instagram photos will also come up in Google image search. So you want the right words in your photo. So we could be saying here, 3 people here sitting in a podcast with a blue membrane in the back, talking about Passive House. Right. So when that words get brought into the text, so it's think about someone who might be, say, blind, but they can click it and it reads out what's happening, so they can understanding.
Okay.
I think that's what it does. So it's actually categorizing the photo and you're describing the photo in the back end in your settings before you upload the photo. I could be completely wrong.
Like a lot of work.
I think it's over engineering it just.
I've got copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I copy. But the other thing I found really helpful with my social media posts is I went through probably about 1.5 years of every single post, copied all the content into a Word doc, and then it took me a long time, and then uploaded I created my own AI bot that essentially now writes and helps me write in the same tone and format for each post.
Yeah.
I've got one of my AI writing tools. I've put so much information in for one of my clients who's also my business coach, and it actually sounds like he's talking to me.
Yeah, that's
like
so
it's freaky.
That's how you should use AI as an assistance tool for social media.
Yeah. It's all about the information and where they're drawing that data from. So Matt and I are passive house builders. I would say a lot of our audience are passive house builders.
Yeah.
I want to know from your outside opinion, and I'm not going to target and say Australian Passive House Association. I'm just going to say Passive House in general.
Yeah.
What do you think Passive House in general is doing wrong from a marketing point of view?
It's just way too technical. You're talking to people in the industry and they're not your consumers at the end of the day.
Can you give an example?
There's just so much content out there that is just way too detailed. It's like, here's every little step. And
here's the number of this.
Here's the heating demand of your house.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. Like even a blower door test, the average person doesn't understand what the purpose of that is
Yeah.
and why this big machine and all the smoke and everything is being done. Like they're like, what wizardry are you doing in the home? Like it's
But describe it in the text.
yeah.
So you can educate through that platform and be like, hey,
do a voiceover
Yeah, yeah.
in like
Okay,
a way
so-
that
yeah,
actually relates.
So this is a good one. Let's sit on blower doors for a second because I know you would have experienced with Tim and you would have experienced with Devon as well. In my opinion, I think it's a thing that you actually want to be communicating with people.
100%.
But how would you sell it? How would you make it engaging? Like if I've got a blower door test, how would you recommend to us and the audience to
Yeah.
make that engaging?
So
We're going to get like 300 very similar posts on social media now.
So we recently did one for, it'll be coming out soon for GJ Gardner Homes in Warragul, and they went through the entire home and we filmed probably 15 little clips, and then we have got the company that did it for them and the director speaking and doing a voiceover. So basically combining from a building perspective to the homeowner what they're doing and then adding in the technical information as well.
but do that
Because-
later off site. You don't need to do the voiceover
No.
as they're doing it. This is the hard part. Yeah.
Because we'll go and edit it and
Yeah.
then be like, cool, you've got like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you need to put, this, and this into it. So hook, body of information, and then your conclusion, wrap up, CTA.
Good hook. Great word. Are you using negative hooks? Or are you?
I love a negative
okay.
hook.
I feel like the world we live in is so.
Well, if you think about it, like an old school tabloid, like all the negative ones are going to get the clicks,
So I'm going to get something up. Yeah, keep talking.
and all the positive ones are so far down.
So
So
I you know what, I know that this is the case, right? And if you look at like Matt's strategy, right, with some of his social media, lots of negative hooks. And I think for a long time I was like, that's not me. I'm not. I
you
don't.
can have fun with it, though.
I know. I know you can have fun with it, and like I just want to exist in a world where we don't have to use a negative hook.
All right. So words of
If-
negative
yeah.
hooks. These are the ones like loophole, unhinged, hidden, like taboo, forbidden, scam, warning, banned, breakthrough, like controversial. Those
Yeah.
words, if you start with a post,
Yeah.
do you stop yourself?
I know.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what I found
yeah.
on site
Oh,
today.
Yeah. So and like it's
If we break it down, I saw something recently and it was like, we're actually like almost training the audience to be like little monkeys, like being like, oh, like I need this. Like
It's a massive dopamine hit.
Yeah, to grab my attention. And then like, I need to give them a hook and I need to give them this and this. And it's like, if you really break down like our attention span,
it's like
and
3
how
seconds.
we're, interacting with social media and how we use it in our daily life, it is a little scary that we really need this very like curated type of content delivered to actually like alert something in our brain to consume it, because we're fed so much that our attention span has just decreased.
I had this conversation literally with my wife last week about her grandparents, like 92 and 93. And they just like happy as Larry, just sitting like, and totally with it too, like can communicate about anything. But the ability that I'm like, don't they get bored? Like when we're older, we're going to have Netflix and we can sit on the couch and still scroll on Instagram. They're just happy just sitting watching whatever comes on TV. But
Yeah.
their attention span is just so much like they happy
Yeah.
to sit and read a book all day. And
I think technology has decreased our patience and it's made us want to live in like a frictionless society.
Anxiety
So
driven,
everything
yeah.
is just smooth. And I was listening to a podcast recently and they're like, oh, when you're going out for a night out and you're waiting for the taxi to come, like you didn't know when it was going to come and like that was
Yeah.
the best like fun time. Now if your Uber's like 2 minutes late, you're freaking out and like it's ruined your night. And I think it does tie back into social media. Like we want everything like in 2 seconds. And it's a competitive market. Anyone can open up an account. Anyone can post and share their information. So
and it doesn't have to be right either.
no. So you've got to be in it. You've got to be authentic and deliver it in a way that, resonates and you'll sleep well at night. But as well, you've got to be smart about it. And if you're doing things in maybe a slower, long form, it's probably not going to take off.
I want to go back to this whole conversation around why Passive House doesn't sell. And I don't even want to put the word Passive House. I want to use like building better. Because
Yeah.
you'd think with the word building better, people go, oh, I want to build a better home. But they don't. And I've been playing with this. My wife's in marketing. I've been throwing ideas at her for like 2 years about like just why it won't resonate with people. And apart from the cost side of things, I do. Where do you think we start? Because I still don't see it being solved anytime soon on this conversation. I think we need different platforms other than just Instagram to get this message across. Podcasting, a huge one. YouTube, massive.
I think it's simpler than you think. So I'll give you an example. At a networking group, Tim from Emerald Building, he's changed his slogan. So I can't remember what it used to be, but it's "Your future built better," which I think is really strong. It's focusing on, building a better future for you and your family.
Yeah.
So he changed his tune recently, and he looked at the window and said, because we were at a venue and it was all sort of like condensation, and he explained why it shouldn't be like that and how it should be, and gave some like really relatable information with a visual. And then the next meeting, the week later, do you know how many conversations he was having? Everyone's like, oh, my home does that. It shouldn't be doing that. Oh, yeah. Can we have a conversation? Like, it was just something relatable that everyone could understand. And then he provided the information. So, again, work out who you're talking to. Stop talking to everyone like they're in the industry. They know what, X designer is and a blower door test and this and that and this rating. Like, you need to talk to them in ways that's going to evoke emotions within them and what's important to them. And it's generally their family, generally these days, cost of living.
Cost of energy, yep.
Yeah. The thing is, everyone these days if you run a business, you're also a content creator now. Most people don't know how to be a content creator. So you need that.
So Hamish is an influencer.
You need that third party to come in that doesn't.
Probably.
Fancy boy.
How much do you charge for a brand deal?
Actually, that's another good one. I've got so many questions. All right, can we skip off social media for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Because I want to go to other ways of marketing. Do you want to like websites, SEO, digital marketing, all those other EDMs and stuff like that?
Yeah. So with marketing these days, there's so many different options. What everyone needs is a solid website to start with. That is just basics 101. And then making sure that you've got your Instagram, your Facebook. I'd say these days TikTok or YouTube as well, depending on, content that you want to do and how hard you're wanting to push. But also
service-based TikTok is probably more like, I would say, or product-based is more TikTok. Is that right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think services as well, because you can share who you are, your knowledge, what you're doing, job updates. And we work predominantly with service-based. We need to get really creative because we've got not a physical product that we can, take pretty photos of.
Yeah.
So covering your social media, covering your website, and also these days you've just got to remember that your website is still really important, but it's probably not as important as it was 5-10 years ago, because we've got AI and it's pulling all of the information from literally everywhere, whether it's an article or a Facebook post, or parts of your website or a review where you're mentioned. All of that is coming into someone's search when they're asking a question. It will spit out all these bits and bobs, and you'll see the links.
And people now search through Gemini. I've started doing it.
Yeah.
So I haven't probably told you this. Over the last year and a bit, all my marketing has been based on being searched through AI means.
Actually, another thing just on AI. Those the things where it says "I'm not a robot."
Yeah.
From what I understand, those are probably things that you should not have on your website anymore. Say someone's filling out a form, because people are going to generate robots that are going to go and fill forms out. So ticking "I'm not a robot" is probably something you should potentially remove.
I don't know if I've got that.
I don't think I have it either. So anyone's
yeah,
robot
but getting
can fill out
found
my
on a
form.
website now, I've done a ton of work over the last 5 years on SEOs through our back end. I think it's just I felt there was in the building industry, like from a builder, that people would make the website and leave it, but for a certain amount of generation, and still I think to these days,
I think people still search.
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
website.
saying.
We've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
a massive uptick in
Yeah.
our website since we've started playing around with SEO. Over
Yeah, yeah,
the last few
yeah.
I
years.
think people just get naive and they're like, nah, everyone just uses Facebook or they
Yeah.
just use Instagram. And I'm like, no, they don't. Like,
Kinda-
stop pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah.
You need to diversify.
Just because everyone else is doing it and it looks sexy, because that's what everyone else is doing, doesn't mean you that
Does
might
that work
yeah,
for your
yeah,
specific business
yeah.
and the people you're trying to engage
So
and educate?
Here's a question for you. What are some of the key things that you would tell every builder to have on their website?
Or architect as well, and anyone really.
Just what are some
Yeah.
of the things that you would be putting on your website?
Oh, just your basics, like have an about page that actually showcases your team. You've got to humanize your brand. Have clear outline of your services in like normal, like understandable terms that is not full of jargon. Also outline your process and how people work together. And this is something that Emerald have worked really hard on recently, is actually a really smooth process of the flow from start to finish.
Yep.
Everything that they can help with. Something that they need to have on every single page is call to action, an inquiry button, something like you need to have at least one of those per page. High quality imagery, high quality video content as well.
Question on that.
Yeah.
Doesn't now social media prioritize your phone over a curated piece of content?
I wouldn't say social media prioritizes it. I think us as consumers associate more high quality content with a paid ad.
Yeah, okay.
So we're more likely to go, stop selling me stuff,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though we haven't even like read
yeah,
anything.
okay. So it's just
What about blogs and newsletters?
I think blogs and newsletters are fantastic. And I think if you're not doing that, like you're missing
Something
out.
you should do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
newsletters
as
is a hard
well,
one.
yeah, collecting that database. Like, be smart. Like, if you've got 1,000 contacts, do something with it.
We actually have three newsletters that are rolling out over Christmas. So we're starting in December. Actually, maybe we're starting next month. So we're starting to roll out newsletters.
Yeah,
yeah.
because the best thing that you can do, because especially with builders and architects, like your price point is quite high. You're not selling like $1,000 something or a $50 candle. You need to really provide value.
Hamish has a
before
candle
you
business on the side.
It's
Oh, do
really,
you?
it's really nurturing that client through that whole process.
100%.
So at the end of it, they're happy to spend $1, $2, $3 million on a
They
home.
want information. And as well, especially with the building industry, it has a bad rap the last couple of years because builders have gone under. There's so many dodgy builders out there.
Yep.
Just a quick side note. Have you guys seen that building inspector that
he's a
goes
fuckwit.
through?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We won't mention that. We'll cut that.
No,
No.
I personally like what he's doing, but don't like what he's doing. I think the issue I have with it is also champion the good stuff. I think that I get what it's selling and stuff.
I love that you say that when we spoke about negative hooks, because that was actually an idea for a client, is to pretend that we're doing the negative, but point out all the positives.
Yeah, I also
Damn, I wish I hadn't just dropped my pen then.
I also
I
I also have I'm gonna be very careful what I say.
When have you been
No.
careful with what
I've
you-
actually
get
just
cancelled.
but there's a lot of claims that have been made that are not true and legally not true, and there's court issues. I also have
Ooh.
yeah,
Okay.
and I just so much want to say, but I'm not going. I'm not.
Oh,
willing to.
are we talking specifically about this?
Yeah.
I know
I can't. I don't want to say because it's legally I could get in trouble.
I know the backstory.
But yeah, so I think I love what he's doing in the industry to make aware of what's happening using those methods. Don't believe everything you see as well.
Do you know what? I
100%.
think that the positives out of it, it's actually making people more aware
Yes.
of what a fault looks like. Yeah, and because people aren't going to get up on their roof and look at a box cutter.
Oh, if I was a client, every single project I'd have I'd get an independent inspector straight out.
Yeah.
Like what? Like it's not to and hey, work with the builder. Don't work against each other. Let them know, work in with them. It's something we've thought about implementing is actually including one in our build costs, but just building so expensive. Anyway, back to marketing. What was my question?
I want to go back to the high performance thing, and passive house stuff for a second. So, give us a couple of tips, maybe just a couple of little ideas that kind of going to get some juices flowing around some kind of content that's not spreadsheets, that's not numbers, that's not blow door results. Sell it to Who are you selling it to? Dave
and Angela.
Dave and Angela.
Why Dave and Angela?
No idea. It just came to my mind. Angela's my mum's name.
Yeah, but perfect.
But I like to
Laura's
humanize
mum.
it because this becomes less of like this random thing that you're, putting in an office and like you're creating it in an office and it's just going out on the interwebs. Like it really creates a connection.
Yeah.
So
well, it actually focuses your attention on what you're doing. All right. Well, what's Angela looking for?
Exactly.
What's Dave looking for?
Yeah. Angela's a, mum of 4. She's,
Yeah, tell us. In fact, tell us about Angela. Tell us about Angela.
She's single?
No.
No, I didn't mean it as your mum. I meant it as like the avatar Angela.
Oh.
No, sorry.
I'm not asking.
Fuck. I didn't mean it that way. Is Dave single?
I was like, I swear you mentioned a wife. But
No, I didn't mean it
So
that way.
Angela, so I want to like if someone's creating an avatar, like tell me some of the things that they should be doing. So Angela, mum of 4.
yeah. So
She's staying home?
No,
Or she got a job? Working?
part-time.
Yep.
So what's income, occupation, education,
Yeah.
what her needs are, what her wants are.
Mm-hmm.
So what does she actually need?
Yep.
And then what would she really like?
Yep.
And then what is she doing as well?
How do
And
we
is
know
di-
what they need? Because I think that's where the barrier is.
You should be talking so much to your consumer that you know what they need.
Yeah.
Like I know exactly what my clients need.
You could. So one of the things that we've done recently is gone back and looked at the age, occupation, number of kids, area that they've bought. We've done some research on house pricing in the area.
But all of those stats is great, but the best thing is the conversation. Like pick up the phone and be like,
Angela.
Yeah, Angela, like what do you need? Like are you all good with this side of things in terms of education? Do you need closer step through on like the process and how we do this? Like you need to work
To your
out
current, but we're trying to hit clients that aren't ours yet.
Yeah. So this is why content pillars and actually showcasing a little bit of like the actual service, a little bit of the process, a little bit of like a project update, a little bit of a emotive client testimonial, an education piece. And you're building this, you're almost like building a puzzle, and each puzzle piece is a different content pillar that you're doing to sort of give them an overview of the entire business.
Yep. Making it frictionless.
Yes.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah. So in terms of content ideas, I do have a couple that I was working on earlier. Health is a big thing, especially for families. So talking about mold, asthma, and if you bring it to kids or pets, like...
I literally have a whole Grand Designs episode on this. Like the thing is like that's what ABC obviously saw value in.
Yeah.
That like they just didn't want another passive house. The whole conversation's on health.
Yeah.
People like...
Yeah, exactly. Another one is like comfort. So a lot of people live in, they're wearing puffer jackets inside because it's so cold and it's too expensive to put, the heater on. Or it's just stinking hot and you've got to like pull out the fans from the garage every summer. So comfort is a big thing. Another one is obviously cost of living and running costs. Everything's getting more and more expensive. So actually breaking things down. And a real life example is, so we work with a heat pump manufacturer.
Who's that?
Econova.
Yep, I know Econova.
Econova.
Goodbye gas use them.
So my grandparents, they're down in Rosebud, and they're on gas for a lot. And my nan has started the conversation with my grandpa saying, I think we should, get on the rebates and, switch over to electric. And he's like, nah, I've heard horror stories. We're going to be out we won't be able to have a warm shower for 6 months. And I'm like, Pa, I could book you in like 3 days time. Like,
it's
small plug. Anyone wanting to electrify their home? Goodbye gas. Goodbye gas.
So this is going back to the face. This is probably a bit of a loop back. 1 step forward, 2 steps. 1 step back, 2 steps forward. That you have the issue is people listen to those negative comments in the Facebook groups around, I'll be out without power, or those things don't work. But there's no verification behind the comments that come, and we just can't sit there and...
No. But that's why social media is important, because you have to be active. You need to be posting at least 2-3 times a week. Otherwise, your posts are just going to plummet to the bottom.
You just got to own it. Like
it's a constant feed of information.
I've been playing around with that. I actually sort of slowed down my commenting and replying in stories and stuff, and reach dropped like 400K. Like just bang. Like still, and like it was fluctuating.
Yeah, yours is really high.
I was sitting around 1.2 to 1.3 per month, and it just like I wanted to see if I didn't do something, what would happen, and it dropped down to like 500K.
Yeah. So getting back to what I was saying before about like certainly reels are something that we see our engagement, go up.
It's when you drop them off.
But what I want to say to you is like having 1.3 million
means fuck
views means nothing if people aren't ringing.
This was what I was wanting to say before, little light bulb moment. But people get so wrapped up in like just like
likes
this,
and followers.
Don't be vain. Don't let like your ego take control. Like if you get 100 views, think about this room with 100 people. You would be like stoked that they're hearing what you're saying. So if it's the right 100 people,
exactly,
and then 10 people come up and have a conversation after, and then 2 people, engage you, that's a massive win.
Yeah, totally.
People just get wrapped up in this number, and I'm like, you need to realize like those funny like social media trends, they work for exposure and just more awareness.
Yeah.
They're not all going to be your ideal clientele.
Well, this is exactly the point I was making earlier on about we still do a reel because I know that it increases engagement and I know that it puts us up the top of people's algorithms. And that's, tens of thousands of views versus a few thousand views. But I know which ones these people here are the ones I want to be nurturing, the smaller audience.
Yeah.
Because they're actually engaging in things that I believe in, the things that I want to sell as a business.
Yeah. And also put something out on your stories where you can ask like, do you enjoy this type of content? Do you enjoy this type? And constantly reassess, like minimum do it quarterly and actually review your stats, look at what's working, what's performing, who your audience is. Is it who you actually want to be attracting? Because if you're wanting to attract 40 to 55-year-old females on the Mornington Peninsula, but you've currently got 25 to 35-year-old males that are, city way, there's a major disconnect and your content's not actually appealing and engaging the right audience.
And like I look at it, like if you have 100 views and you get one person that signs up and I have 1 million views and I don't get anyone, I'd rather be the 100. Like what's the saying? Having 100% of the pea is better than having 1% of the watermelon.
But this was, I guess, the question I was asking before. Like, should we do a spread of all of it? Like, is there a strategy around getting followers and engagement, and does that then potentially feed back into opening up, I guess, your real target audience?
Yeah, there isn't a clear-cut formula, and I think social media, like we don't have complete control. It's the platforms and the algorithms. But then like we obviously can share what we choose to share. I think diversity is the best, and then constantly checking in with like, what's your best performing post? Is it engaging the right audience? And constantly checking in and tweaking it. But you don't need to overkill it. Like you can have a strategy and stick it through for 3 months and then check in and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Obviously if like it's completely plateauing and it's not, having an uptick, do something about it. But it's like each social media page is so unique. What works for you might not work for me.
And play with ideas. Try something new. Like just
do something
the other
fun.
thing that I fucking hate is like we've been copied heaps. And that's okay. That means we're producing good quality content. The thing is like, don't be afraid to try something that hasn't been done before. It might not work. I do it all the time. And sometimes like, well, that was a flop. But sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I've got something, you can build on that idea.
And it's often for social media, like the ideas that you really didn't spend much time thinking about.
100%.
Those work.
You've got the best idea and you're like, you curate it and it's like perfect. You're like, oh my God, this one's going to go off. And
some of my best posts have just been an idea that came into my head when I'm working around the house. In the garden. If I sit down and try and think about it, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
But I'll just be like, oh, that's a good idea.
In
fact, as we were talking now, I've had an idea of a post that I'm going to do.
What is it?
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you afterwards.
So I want to ask, what do you think the trends are going to be in marketing in 2026?
I think more authenticity, given how rampant AI is.
Yeah.
I think more human connection and actually hearing people speak
Yeah.
and deliver valuable information. And also like the fuck ups. I hope you don't mind me swearing.
No.
But the
Oh,
fuck ups,
no.
like if it's like,
We've gotta cut- we've gotta-
you're going to have to edit that out.
Episode's
For
fucked
fuck's
down.
sake.
but like people love seeing like if you're doing like an and sign and then the next sentence you write and. Like it almost, the things that we used to criticize 10 years ago grammatically is almost more attractive because you're like, oh, a real person wrote this. Like it's speaking to me and it feels more personal. So I think the personal, more authentic route is definitely where we're going for
So this is where I've
2026.
also, I know we've spoken about automation of our processes.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone back to old school.
So this is,
So you get-
and we're probably digressing.
Yeah,
a
I
bit.
know.
So I do have a kind of theory on that too. I think automation is really important, and I think AI is a really amazingly powerful tool.
100%.
But you absolutely need to have personal touches. So
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
things that Gianne's working on is a series of surveys from our QBE stage
Yeah.
all the way through to our handover stage, and there's little checkpoints along the way
Yeah.
where we are encouraging. So a person is emailing, please fill out this survey. Give us your
Yep.
feedback,
Yeah.
and we will respond.
Yeah.
And also phone calls, like just giving them a call and seeing how they're going. The
Yep.
best ways that I have exited the wrong people in my business is calling up and actually like really checking in with clients to see, are they feeling the love? Are we, you know, over delivering? If it's anything short of that and like I can't train up the person, then I will exit them.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's got to be done.
What else do you think that like do you see like
Can I have a question?
yeah.
Question. Okay, so video.
Yep.
So I do a lot of reels where I'm talking.
Yep.
And I'm usually doing it in one take,
Yep.
and I'm showing people some, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
And generally they're getting anywhere between 20 to 40 to 50,000 views, right?
You want to know how to increase that?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Do I care? Maybe. I don't know. Is there a bit of an ego thing there?
Yeah.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. But so putting my face there, is that making any difference? Do people want to see a
Yeah,
person?
100%.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So the thing with filming social media content is you've got your visual hook. So that's what it looks like and what you're doing. Are you jumping into frame? Are you like, you know, putting the mic on the end of a banana or a hammer or something funny and talking? Then there's the audio hook. So this again is like, you know, you wouldn't believe what I found on site this morning. And then in terms of like keeping stuff entertaining, you're meant to change the frame every 2 seconds.
Oh,
The
wow.
Edits app is the best for this.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So the other thing is, and with the Edits app, it's an Instagram app, or you can just go through, you don't know how many videos you got on your phone. You got
hundreds.
thousands.
Hundreds, yeah.
You can go past and just edit and add them all together, and then you got new content, and all you do is do the voiceover.
Yep.
A lot of my content is the same shit. I just change the videos.
Do you know how much you can actually maximize from certain pieces of content? Like there is just so much. You can do like a big voiceover. You can do a shortened one where it just features this certain
A lot of these are all
section.
the same reel. They just get changed.
Yeah, no. I've seen them because I've.
Yeah, but you just like it's
Okay.
like it's making your life easier too, and there's so many tools to actually cut
Yeah.
out a lot of the work.
It's not
Okay,
that
so-
hard. You need a strategy and then you need to actually execute it and
Yeah.
don't change it after a
Yeah.
week.
Okay, so video tick, curated videos or self-filming videos?
Self-filming, the only tendency I see in the building industry is people waffle. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
40 seconds, man.
come on, like let's make it a bit more punchy. I think it's more authentic, but it needs to be a little bit more punchy. You need to know what you're filming.
Yep.
Don't just go, oh crap, I need to film something for social media and just waffle on about it.
They're the ones
Yeah.
that always work.
Yeah. So I guess this is the bit I find challenging, right? Because I might film something, and I remember I filmed something a couple of months ago, and I'm like, oh fuck, I need to get a reel out because I haven't done one for a week
Yeah.
or so, and I just filmed a site update, and I had like 100,000 views,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You've got to remember there's no simple calculation.
and this is kind of what I'm getting at, like,
Yeah.
okay, so
we had a video recently. I looked at it this morning for a builder in Ballarat, and the video that's performed 10 times better than all the other content is literally like a sped up ASMR version of this this corner piece of timber being cut out for flooring. and a little hack
So
because
this-
it was sped up and it was ASMR and it just was like,
So this is probably interesting because I don't know if you watched the video that Bambi sent us the other day about the YouTube stuff.
Oh,
And this might resonate with you, and it definitely resonates with me now because I sit down and watch YouTube all the time with my son, and it is sped up like things getting built, and we're totally, I don't know, our algorithms like got like log and stone cabins getting built in the middle of the bush, right? But it's sped up, and Bambi called them hammer tap content, because you can actually hear the hammer tapping, and it's like, it's like tap, 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 and things going together. And I'm like, there is something mesmerizing about
it's the ASMR, like.
So what's ASMR?
Oh,
it's like, you know, when you like do this, like, and some people like love the sound, or like the perfect example.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
it's-
you're like
it's-
chiseling
it's-
out
it's-
timber, like it's
yes,
the
yeah, yeah.
feeling.
So it's tap, 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 tap.
it's the
hammer tap.
audio. So it's
Yeah.
the audio where it's like dead silent and then you just hear like.
That's what. So that's exactly what
It's
I'm
like
saying.
someone on
So
the Portaloo and you
find
put a camera, a video.
I find something really mesmerizing about, you know, them
That's why, like-
using a saw,
Yeah.
and cutting it, and the sound of
Yeah.
the saw going through. But it's
or even like the carpet cleaning videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but those filthy rugs getting cleaned.
I love them where they just the whole time spit up. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even have. I've got 2 rugs in our house, but I would never let my rug get that dirty. But
Yeah.
two, I'm like, oh my god, this is so fascinating. Or the mower guy, where they just
I love that.
where
Yeah.
they just fast track mowing. I got
Yeah.
no interest in mowing. Fucking love it.
I was about to show my age with something, and I can't remember the name.
Like retirement homes getting built. You open yourself up there. Anyway, we have to start wrapping this up. Now, we have a segment on this podcast called The Mindful Moment, sponsored by MEGT, Australia's leading apprenticeship experts. And both Hamish and I have our
3 now.
Yeah, 3. I've got 2, about to have a 3rd signed up with them. I know we've got some conversations in the background about doing better things for apprentices and changing the system. But this week, I've been working on, and one of my team come to me, a carpenter, recently and said, we've got to give a guide to apprentices. And we spoke about this on another podcast about how to guide them to become good tradespeople. So something we've started to develop as a boss is a plan to get them there. It's a bit ruthless like you are. If they're not good, you exit them. But the whole idea is to provide them a step-by-step, year-by-year of their apprenticeship, where they should be at. So a first year, by end of a first year, you've got to have this toolkit. You've got to be this far into your apprenticeship by studying. We expect you to do 30 minutes of extracurricular learnings per week.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah, 30 minutes of extra learnings.
Which is nothing.
It's not. It's like a car riding. It's a podcast. There you go. But we want to get them into the habit of getting better. And then second, you're going to have these tools. Third year, we want you involved. We want you in like a Cert 4. Fourth year, we just want you completing it and being prepared to be a junior carpenter. So we're creating a pathway with our team to pretty much set non-negotiables and KPIs for our apprentices to be ready to enter the real world. And it's ruthless. It's very simple that I said to the kid coming on that if you don't tick all these boxes, you won't have a job after the first year. They're not hard. It's spending we've got like a certain table in there of how much percentage of your wage, and it might be like 5%, it should be spent on tools, and it shows the amount of dollars per week. It's like $15. It was presented to me by one of my team. I thought it was an awesome idea.
Love it.
So we kind of got through that. Anyway, to get on to you, Laura, how do we contact you? We're going to dob you in to speak at the Passive House conference next year and present on why the Passive House market can't market Passive House.
And just really quickly, the services that you offer.
Yeah, of course. So I run Sorted Digital Marketing. We're based in South Melbourne. However, we service clients all over the country, and we have for the last nearly 8 years. We do social media marketing. So we do management of that, and we also do a DIY package to train up your team or your admin team to get that off the ground. We do content creation, so all the raw iPhone fun content, educational, and then we also do high quality professional content as well.
So there's like a wide range of packages that you can have.
Yeah, and everything has various options, so it can appeal to any budget, any requirement. We've got paid support for Google, Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok, email marketing as well, so leveraging those databases. And then we are also doing influencer marketing. I know some people might... Influencer marketing and then PR and events. So really that holistic marketing, and we've got specialized teams in each department, and then I'm sort of the one above trying to merge everything together and be a part of each project.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you
if
so
you need
much
to reach out to you, sorted.com.au.
Sorteddigital.com.au.
And Instagram.
@_sorted.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Thank you very much.